Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the world of a truly luxurious leather, shell Cordovan. It is world renowned for its unmatched beauty, durability, and well, let's just say it does not come cheap. But is the hype around shell Cordovan justified? Is it worth emptying your wallet for? We'll find out today. Before you hit the buy button on your next shell, if you're a leather worker or whatever piece it is that you're looking at buying, let's peel back the layers and unveil the truth behind this coveted leather. This video might just save you some serious cash or convince you to invest in a piece of history. And today, hopefully, I'll answer all of your questions. Now first, a brief history on what is shell Cordovan. Shell Cordovan isn't your average cowhide. It isn't in fact made of cows or bovine, if you want to be slightly more technical. It comes from a specific area on the horse rump. It's a much smaller section, obviously, being the horse's rump, and it's over the shell of the horse's backside, which is one of the reasons it's called shell. And it does in fact contribute to the price, because obviously a cowhide is a big old piece of leather, it's a big old piece of cow. This is not. You can buy horse front. I'm not covering that today, unfortunately. Traditionally, leather is the skin that covers the animal that is removed and then tanned. Most of it has always been from bovine skin, so cow skin. That's where it originated from. Obviously, you can buy leather from pretty much every animal that you can think of. There's even beaver leather. That's still leather because that's the skin of the animal. However, shell Cordovan isn't technically leather in the traditional sense of it is not skin. Underneath the skin, there is a fibrous membrane over the muscle. Can't remember the name of it. I'll put it on the screen. And that is the membrane that is what shell Cordovan is. It's over the muscle, it's under the skin, so it's sandwiched between the two, and it's one of the reasons it's so tough, because it's obviously not fibrous. It's the connective tissue under the skin. So after they've taken the skin away from the horse, which is not very nice to think about actually, and they've taken the muscle away from the other side, I don't want to think about skinning a horse. We'll move on from that. They then shave. They use a shaving machine, which thins it down from the top and the bottom, because obviously they don't want the skin. The skin isn't part of the shell Cordovan. They don't want the muscle. Muscle isn't part of the shell Cordovan. So they shave off the top and the bottom, producing the shell Cordovan. Part that they finish, that when you look at the shell, is the finished, beautifully lustered material, lustered surface finish. It's actually like that. It's upside down. So the finished layer is what would be touching the muscle. The top is what would be touching the skin on the top. So they've shaved it, they've flipped it, and they've finished it. I hope that makes sense to you guys. This limited availability, because it is such a small piece of real estate, let's call it, is a big part of what makes shell Cordovan so special, but it's such a big part of what makes it so expensive. The history of this leather stretches centuries. Initially invented in Cordoba, Spain. It's not obviously called Cordoba anymore, but that's where the name comes from, in the 17th century. And it was initially invented for the use in barbershops, because it is so dense, it makes a perfect strop. And it still does to this day. It is a phenomenal leather for strop. Shell Cordovan is now made by some of the largest tanneries in the world. Primarily Cordovan, simply because it is, as they love to stamp on everything, the world famous shell Cordovan. And it is that which has kind of made it globally successful, is Cordovan Leather Company in Illinois. But in my personal opinion, and this is only my personal opinion, shell Cordovan by Cordovan, and in fact Cordovan in general, is wildly overpriced. I think theirs is, well, it's silly price. I'll put it on the screen. One of the reasons I believe that Horween has made such a global success of their shell cordovan is because the US is the biggest market for quite a few things. The biggest market for leathercraft in the world is the United States. The US is the biggest market for quite a few things, including my channel. In fact, over 80% of you guys loving my channel aren't subscribed. So a sub to the channel would be Shelltastic. Not only do they slap a rather large maker's stamp, a bigger one, it's about this big, on the back of their shell, which some people love more than the leather itself. They make a huge deal about it having the Horween stamp on it, but also a hefty price tag, which you could argue you're paying that hefty price tag for the stamp. It is highly coveted by leather workers now. And back to the video, that was a tangent. By making it super exclusive, and therefore exclusivity drives prices up because people want what they can't have. It's always been the case throughout. Horween Leather Company are claiming that because shells are tanned for such a long period of time, that any tannery that is producing shells with less time than the 6 or 9 months that it takes to tan them are of superior quality, and you shouldn't buy theirs because it requires such a long, arduous process to get the best finish. That's what they're claiming. But Horween is not my favourite shock horror. Let's talk about the positives, because there are loads. It is absolutely beautiful. Shell cordovan boasts a deep, rich shine unlike any other. It has a stunning, deep luster, which I haven't seen in any other leather. I don't believe it exists in any other leather. And it does patina absolutely beautifully. This is partly due to how it's produced. They use an agate stone. It's about this big. It's the same as how they glaze alligator or crocodile, and they rub it really fast across the shell cordovan, which gives it a really deep luster. And as it ages, it produces an absolutely mesmerizing patina. I love you, but I'm busy, my love. I'm busy. Shell cordovan has an absolutely legendary durability. Because horse rump is incredibly tough and resilient, with proper care, shell cordovan bag or a pair of fancy shoes in most cases can literally last a lifetime. They become an absolutely cherished heirloom within families. People hand down their shell cordovan shoes to their children. Alan Edmonds, famously in the United States, uses Horween shell and produces stunning shoes. I'd never deny that they're not. Shell cordovan has such a unique polishability. With the agate stone I just told you about, the polishing process is almost therapeutic to watch, and the resulting luster is truly eye-catching. Part of its polishability makes it almost unscratchable, because if you get a small scratch on the surface, it can be down to what is not dyed, it can be down to quite deep. You can literally get a metal spoon or more traditionally a bone folder, and you can rub it and that scratch will disappear. It's unlike anything else. You can't do that to any other leather because it is incredibly rare and exclusive in the wide scheme of things. Yes, you can buy it easily online if you know where to look, but compared to the international supply of leather, you can watch videos on these ginormous tanneries in the US and China and Russia, to name a few, that are going through thousands of skins a day, and that compared to the hundreds a week of shells being produced and manufactured in these tanneries. It is very rare and very exclusive, and that does owe to the price tag. It is uniquely unstretchable, and it makes it really, one thing, difficult to make shoes from, which is why places like Alan Edmonds charge so much for their shoes. I believe there's one called Crown in Northampton, the UK, where I'm from, which makes sneakers out of shell cordovan. They are absolutely love to test a pair. If anyone watching works or knows someone that works at Crown Northampton, pester them to send me a pair. I'd love to review them and unbox them for you, because they do look phenomenal, and I've heard they are so comfortable. So Crown Northampton, please reach out. I would love to see your shoes. The negatives of shell cordovan, the other side of the butt, so to speak, and there are some, otherwise I wouldn't be making this video. The price tag shock, horror. It is, let's face it, shell cordovan is expensive, almost obscenely so. So it is very expensive. You're paying for the rarity. If you're buying a product from it, you're paying for the craftsmanship, because it is difficult to work with, most of it. Be prepared to shell out some serious cash for, if you're buying a genuine shell cordovan product, be prepared for it to be 3 or 4 times the price of a, let's say, Buttero wallet, which is a very simply tan, vegetable tan leather, beautiful stuff, but it is far cheaper than shell cordovan. Yes, it is very repairable, it is very polishable, but it is incredibly susceptible to scratches. In fact, it scratches itself. If you have a shell cordovan wallet and you have the pockets inside and they rub together, they will scratch themselves, and the scratches do happen frequently. So this might be a turn-off for someone who would prefer a slightly more forgiving leather, like a chrome tan leather, which are very, very resistant because they have coatings on them. That's part of the chrome tan process. They require special care. To maintain its beautiful shine, shell cordovan needs specific cleaning, specific conditioning. You can't use just standard, well you can, you'll just destroy it, cleaning and conditioning products. If you do improper care of your shell or shell cordovan product, you will scratch and you will discolor it, because it's not a what's called a color fast leather. The color, even if you just rub it, the color will come off. It discolors. So you need to use specific shell cordovan cleaning and caring products, which there are, or there have been traditionally, very limited color options. Shell cordovan comes in a naturally limited color palette because it's vegetable tan leather. Primarily it has been shades of brown, burgundy, some greens, some blues, although there are now tanneries like Ricardo, I believe they're called, and some Japanese ones I can't pronounce just because I don't speak Japanese, that are now producing some really interesting variations to the same colors. So they've got things like marbled shell, or they have, it's called museum finish, and it's actually my favorite fit. I love it. Now, to the last negative, the one I was not looking forward to talking about. Ethical considerations. We are talking about horse skin. Well, not skin. We are talking about horse leather. So the use of horse leather raises ethical considerations for quite a few people. If you tell someone it's shell cordovan, maybe it's why they named it shell cordovan, don't know. If you tell someone that it is a shell cordovan wallet, they might think, oh, it's beautiful. If you tell someone that it's a horse skin, a horse leather product, you might not be getting a second date. If you're sitting at the table and you bring out your card holder, if you're sitting at the table in your favorite bar with your special someone that you met recently, and you bring out your fabulous card holder, wallet, bag, and they say, oh, that's lovely, I'm not sure who would say that, but let's just say, for argument's sake, we get a, oh, that's a lovely wallet, because they're trying to be nice to you, and they say, oh, what's it made of? I don't know who would say that. This is a very funky story, but we're gonna go with it. And you say it's shell cordovan, I'd be like, oh, it's beautiful, send me a link. But on the other flip side, you say it's horse leather. I love working with it. I'm not gonna stop working with it. I wish it was thinner. And part of the manufacturing process means, it's one of the negatives actually that I haven't put in this list. Part of the manufacturing process means they don't make it any thinner, it is what it is. It's the thickness of that connective tissue. You can send it off to be split, you can hand skive it, you can't really run it through a bell knife because the surface is so easily scratched. It is a horse leather. So I'm not going to stop using it, I love it. If it was thinner, I'd use it even more because it's very, very durable and all of the things that we previously talked about. So yeah, there's that ethical consideration, and it is important to be aware of the source and ensure that you're getting it from a reputable tannery. So that is a really big one, and that's why I put it at the end. But please be aware of how careful you need to be with buying your products, because you don't want to get it from somewhere that is not nice to their ponies. This can be a no-go for people that just don't want to own any item made from pony. Yeah, I love it though. And I try and put that out of my mind, and I try and focus on what I love about it and don't think about where it comes from. So, to buy or not to buy? Ultimately, the decision of whether to buy shell Cordovan product or the shell, and is it worth it, comes down to your personal preference, budget, thickness of your wallet with all them bills in it. Ultimately, that's your decision. If you appreciate exceptional quality, timeless beauty, heirloom quality leather, and a touch of exclusivity, then shell might be the perfect leather for you. However, if budget is a major consideration, or you prefer a more low maintenance leather for whatever you're using because you don't want to baby your thing, you want to put it through the mill, there are phenomenal alternatives, but then there are phenomenal shell Cordovans. So the choice is yours, and I'll leave the choice to be yours, and I'll leave it there. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Is shell Cordovan worth the hype? Do you think that Horween leather is overpriced as fuck and would never touch it with a 10-foot barge pole? Let me know. I really, really want to know your thoughts on this leather, because I have lots of them, as you've heard. Let me know in the comments, have you ever owned a shell Cordovan piece? Have you ever worked with shell Cordovan? Share your experiences with me. Let me know what you think. And if you're interested in learning more about caring for shell Cordovan leather, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and let me know you want to know how to care for this magical material. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a great day, night, weekend, whatever it is that you're watching. Happy crafting, and I'll see you next time. Take care.